resumes or LinkedIn. We have time for a couple of shares, and then you can also drop it in the chat. Neelam, anything on your mind today?
I keep getting mixed messages about what resumes and LinkedIn's need to look like based on everybody's different styles. And so I know there's no one answer to the question, but like, what are the things? And then on resumes specifically, people are like, summary sections and skills sections should not be there. But then some are like, they should be there. It's like, what the hell? Somebody tell me what it's supposed to be. Because the recruiters I speak to are like, no, it's great to have it there. It's good for us to see it. But then like the actual hiring managers that I've had look at them, they're like, we don't care about that. We just want to know the meat of your stuff.
Got it. Okay, that is a great question. So I'm just going to add to the notes. We're going to talk about skills and summary versus no skills and summary, and then resume formats, and then recruiters versus hiring manager feedback. Okay, some good questions to start us off. And we're still going to give it a couple minutes for people to join since we're right at the hour. Lila, did you come with any specific questions? It's good to see you again. Okay, great. So while people are joining, just one more time, this is very communal, so feel free to join with camera and mic, and feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat. And I will go ahead and introduce myself. Hi everyone, I'm Melinda Kohler. I'm the founder here of Lessons Up and Job Search Bootcamp. I was a teacher 10 years ago. I pivoted into tech, and I've been leading growth and operations for the last 10 years, which means I was a hiring manager doing a lot of hiring. So what I did is I reverse engineered the hiring process so that all of us could break into tech or whatever career we want to, or accelerate our career in tech. Everything that we talk about today is based on proven tactics, things that I have seen again and again in my career, or from the hundreds of people who have now been through Job Search Bootcamp. So my style is to go right to it and give you exactly what you need, and then we'll go in and break it down and even show you some evidence that these things work. For your resume and your LinkedIn profile, the first, very most important thing that you need to have on there, in fact, I'm going to see if anyone can guess who's in Job Search Bootcamp. What is the first most important thing that should be on your resume?
Your LinkedIn profile.
Okay, great. Any other thoughts? Most important thing. Okay, contact information. I love it, Greg.
Your key result.
Yes,
The job you're trying.
yes, yes. Okay, you all nailed it. Lila, the absolute most important thing to be on your resume is a key result. The job title that you're targeting is the second most important thing. The reason why that key result is so important is because I have actually seen people propel their entire job search, including astounding career pivots, based on a single key result as the strategy. Obviously, there's more to it, but if you start with that and people see it, you're going to get attention. And this will also help us answer some of these questions about different feedback that we're hearing on resumes. So, key results need to be on your resume. I'm going to show you why that is absolutely the most important thing. Carla joined a Job Search Bootcamp in week 2. This means that she hadn't even had a chance to optimize her resume or her LinkedIn profile, or it was a work in progress, right? But she identified a key result, and she immediately wrote a networking blurb and put it out in the world. That key result sounded like this. With the help of my analysis tool, 79% of students were scoring a solid 2, up from 58% at the beginning of the year. She put out that word before she even put out a resume, before she even started applying. Just posted it actually in our community and a few other places, and she landed 4 interviews. Over the course of the next 10 weeks, she wound up interviewing for 4 companies. She got 2 offers, and she pivoted from teaching into tech. Scratchpad is a fast-paced startup based in San Francisco. Carla was a teacher based in Houston. She continues to live in Houston. So she not only pivoted from teaching to customer success at a tech startup, she also landed a remote work role. She did optimize her resume and LinkedIn profile after she had identified that key result and posted it everywhere. I'll actually tell you a little secret. She didn't do too much on her LinkedIn profile because she never really had to. In fact, she kind of breaks one of the rules. There are no key results here, but she did such a good job with her networking blurb that it didn't matter. So the first thing that I want to say is, yes, the most important thing on a resume or a LinkedIn profile is key results. But to overcome this variation in feedback that we hear, oh, should there be a skills summary? Should be there, an executive summary? I'm hearing one thing from a hiring manager. I'm hearing one thing from a recruiter. There's going to be a never-ending amount of advice about resumes, but the way we overcome that is by applying to people, not jobs. So remember, our job search actually starts with networking, conducting calls where we talk to people, and we can start doing that even before our resume is ready to go. We can craft our networking blurb, put it out in the world, schedule a call, and then it's not until after the call that we need to send someone that resume to get the referral, right? So now we're at just so everyone knows, like, where are we at in the process? Ideally, we're sending out resumes to get referrals to jobs, not using them so much to just apply cold, right? So think about that. The purpose of your resume is to impress people who are already excited about you. It's not to try to break through the ATS or applicant tracking system. Is anyone, actually, is everyone familiar with the term applicant tracking system? Pretty much, yeah. And everyone is talking about, oh, I should optimize for keywords. I should optimize for the computer, for the machine learning, for the AI. We're never actually going to get to that point, guys. It's a machine, it's AI, it's a computer. It's going to work for us or against us. It's going to be the hardest path to finding a job. In fact, has anyone here been searching for a job for more than 3 months?
I have.
Got it. Anyone else searching for a job for more than 3 months? Okay, Diego. And then what I would want to ask for, if you have been, if your main tactic for finding a job has been looking for jobs to apply to and then applying.
Yes.
Okay. That's how most of us operate, which is why we all put so much emphasis on resumes and LinkedIn profiles. But let's go ahead now and take a look at some resumes and LinkedIn profiles, keeping in mind that it's only a piece of the process. So let me share my screen and we'll break down the most important points here. Okay. I like to look at live, real materials. The most important thing in this resume, we're going to find out by me asking all of you some questions. So everyone take a look at this resume for a moment. And then I'm going to ask a couple of questions. And let me see if you can see it when I put it all on one page. Okay, does anyone know what we would hire Dahlia for?
Growth marketing.
Exactly. This is going to sound really obvious, but why do we know that?
Right there on the top.
It's right there on the top. I like to ask this question because when a recruiter scans your resume, one of the first things that they will do is check to see if there's a role that fits their organization. Now, let's just say Dahlia hadn't put growth marketing here because she saw that in her career history she hadn't had that title. She'd had digital marketing or customer experience consultant. Let's pretend she put customer experience consultant up here. And then she sent it to someone to get a referral for a growth marketing role. Let's just even say it was Neelam, and Neelam had talked to Dolly and was like, oh my gosh, yes, you'd be an amazing fit for the growth marketing team. Send me your resume. And then if this said customer experience, and you're supposed to send it to the director of marketing, do you guys see the problem? So this detail is surprising because most of us think that it would be very, very easy to get correct. Most of us think that the title only goes down here, right? It goes right under your name, and it needs to match the title for a role that you are targeting. If you are in talks with a specific organization, go and look at their roles and find a job title that most closely relates to your experience and put it at the top of your resume. That is going to save you a lot of time and effort. Immediately tells people, I should look at this resume because there's a role this person is qualified for. Okay. Any questions about that? Challenges to the system? No one here is thinking, well, I haven't held the title before, so I shouldn't put it there. I might not be qualified for it. Cancel those thoughts. What qualifies you for this title is not these specific titles you've held, but these key results. So my next question to all of you, why would you trust Dahlia in a growth marketing role?
So the metrics on a CV that's the key results that she achieved on each role.
Exactly. And notice that the numbers, and only the numbers, are emboldened. So the truth is, if I'm a recruiter, I'm going to scan a resume for a maximum of 5 seconds. I'm hoping I don't even have to look at it that long. This is how it goes. Okay, title, impact, solid career history. I'm moving it forward to learn more. If these things don't match, if I see a title that I'm not hiring for, or I see a title that's not backed up by a key result pretty quickly, I might not have enough information to make that fast decision, and I might put it in the reject pile or the maybe pile. Most likely the reject pile because I got a big pile of resumes. So all I'm looking for as a recruiter or a hiring manager is to quickly identify the candidates that I could talk to. I'm not trying to give anyone any breaks, right? Just, all right, there's 100 applications in front of me. Boom. That said, most of us are going in through referrals, so they're going to take a closer look, right? Most of us are having someone who knows the hiring manager email them the resume. So that's a little bit different. But you still wanted to tell that very quick story. Growth marketing, 1,000 plus attendees. Oh yeah, I want to talk to this person. It's that simple. The next question, and the last question that I might look for as a recruiter, are there any differentiators? I'm hiring for the growth marketing role, so I've seen hundreds of resumes for this growth marketing role in the past couple of weeks. Gotta be honest. So, what stands out, if anything? Well,
The way that it's structured does make it look like she has proven experience for like a decade.
Nice.
No, I can't see.
Nice. Right, and that's true. Actually, sometimes the differentiator might be right here, and you can see it right there, experience for a decade. So other things, what qualifies as a differentiator? It could be the fact that she's a digital marketer who came up through business development and project management. It could be the fact that she has an MBA. Maybe it's the fact that she's got a background in Russian literature, or she's got these very specific skills, and maybe one is what I'm looking for. if you include a skills section, make sure you're including skills that are in demand in the roles that you're targeting, right? Otherwise, there's no need to. Nobody needs a skills section that says Google Suites, familiar with Slack or Jira. We should all be able to adapt to those tools pretty quickly, right? So skills that are just the bare minimum of like working in tech, not necessarily important to call out. Yeah, the differentiator can be anything that really is you that not everybody has. Don't overthink it. Just make sure you get that title and put it in your key results, and the rest is going to fall into place. Oh, and you probably will have multiple versions of your resume in one place so that it's easy to grab. So this one could have a different title, for example, or a slightly different executive summary. Okay, I see some stuff in the chat. Did anyone have questions? Only list my previous role, but not include the one before that. Definitely list as many roles as you can. There's no reason to only list your previous role. You want quite a few roles on there, but you want to make sure that the role that you show most recently has key results, right? Okay. Any other questions before we jump to LinkedIn profiles?
So here's my other question.
Yeah.
Like theoretically, I have 15 years of professional experience, over 3 roles and 2 consulting. 1 page or 2 pages, and
One.
then typically how many key results per role?
1 page. You only need 3 key results per role. You can certainly go up to 5, especially if you were there for more than 5 years. If you're earlier in your career and you're like, I've only had 1 role, that's fine. Give us some good key results. Flesh that out, right? But yeah, if you've had over 5 years of career experience, a couple of different jobs, or if you have a lot of career experience, lots of different jobs, 3 bullet points is really all you need. Most humans can only process 3 things at any given time anyway, so. Okay. Any other questions pop up? Okay, let's take a look at LinkedIn profiles. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is how do LinkedIn profiles and resumes differ? People seem to be concerned that they should not put the same key results on their resume as on their LinkedIn profile. That is so not true. Your key results should be exactly the same. There might be some differentiations in title on your LinkedIn profile. If your legal job title was Project Management Specialist 3, supply chain logistics, you could put that on there so that people in your company see that, sure. But if that title is on your resume, it doesn't really do much for me. Project Management 3, supply chain logistics. You could just put, project manager. So you can get strategic with your titles. If you were in a sales role that was very customer success heavy as well, you could put sales/customer success, especially if you're targeting customer success. Those things are very similar. If you're targeting a title that is very, very similar to a role that you've had, you could put project manager/product owner. Things like that. Get those keywords that reflect who you are right there for people to see them, even if they weren't your legal job title. Especially depending on the industry. Like we had, I'll just show you another profile of one of our boot campers, Holly, who pivoted from 10 years in the fitness industry. And before she joined Job Search Boot Camp, she was applying and nobody was talking to her. But on her resume, she had titles like Director of Group Fitness, Director of Massage Therapy, Site Leader and Regional Fitness Manager. These titles did not translate over very well. So she optimized her resume and used terms, director, sales and customer success, even though it was technically massage therapy group fitness. People were probably thinking that she was leading group fitness, like events or things, right? Who knows what they thought? Ask yourself what you might think from this. The way Holly broke through, and she did it in 10 weeks, she started saying sales and customer leader who increased revenue by 36% year over year. Or actually, it was led sales team of 25 people to increase revenue by 36% year over year. That was very different. Her resume beforehand had said, managed P&L budgets, partnered with external and internal stakeholders, including leadership. It wasn't that direct. I increased revenue by 36%, and that was what she needed. In 10 weeks, she became the director, and in 8 months, she became the vice president of customer success. 0 experience in startups, 0 experience in tech. It was all because she started using the right language to show what she was a fit for. Also, Holly's LinkedIn profile, you'll see she never went back and optimized it. As soon as she wrote her networking blurb and updated her resume and got referrals, she started landing those interviews and just breezed. Well, I won't say breezed. She worked really, really hard in boot camp, but she opened all the doors, and this wasn't even that important for her. So it's not a great example of a well-optimized LinkedIn profile. We do have some great examples, but it just answers that first question, that the most important thing is that you really get those titles right. So how should a LinkedIn profile be built? You want to immediately tell people how you add value to their organization. There are a lot of ways to do this. Alicia happens to be a storyteller, so she's particularly good at it, so it says kick-ass storyteller. But then it gets a little bit more personal in building a relationship. This is how you differ your LinkedIn profile from your resume. You make sure the value that you add to organizations is there and doesn't change. Some of the rest of the language might be a little bit more relationship building, right? Let's take a look at Jesse Marino in Job Search Boot Camp. Well, he was in Job Search Boot Camp. Remember what I mentioned about key results being absolutely the most important thing? So, why are we talking about Jesse's profile? Well, first of all, he was very successful in the retail industry. In 7 weeks, he pivoted into health tech. By the way, he tried to find a job for a year on his own and was rejected. But look at the very most important thing is that people understand the value that you drive in an organization. And remember, the most important thing about your resume or your LinkedIn profile is your key result. Brilliant way to approach this. Jesse has a key result right there under his name. 10 plus years experience driving multi-million-dollar sales. This did not hurt him in his pivot from the retail industry at stores like Disney and Tom's to a health tech company called Vault Health. Did not hurt him. Key result, front and center. I add value in this very specific way. He's a bit more of a relationship builder. He has a lot of words here to describe himself. This really is personal. You can do whatever you want with it as long as you say what value you add, why you like to add that value, and you have evidence. He really did optimize his profile because he'd been looking for a year before he joined us. Lists of key results. I would actually say, for me personally, like way too many key results. We really only need 5, but it didn't hurt him. So that's just a personal preference. So everyone here, what you should do is go back, look to your LinkedIn profile, make sure right under your name people see what value you add. Again, lots of ways to do this. Let's look at Lexi Lynn. She was in our program, and I think she just took, a little bit more of a senior product manager. building things that make the world a better place, Oxford comma enthusiast. Building a relationship, but immediately you see the value that she adds. That's a good profile because for a lot of us it's hard to come up with that catchy language. In the about section, Neelam, one way to make your about section is just put your networking blurb there because it states what value you add, a key result, and a little bit of information about why you like to do that. Those are the top 3 things that you need to have. And Lexi kept hers very short. Creative product manager, demonstrated history, startup environment. But she's got these key results down here. She actually didn't have any here, so I would have said, definitely include those. But like I said, people join Job Search Bootcamp and sometimes they wind up in interviews because of that networking blurb before they even go back and optimize their materials, right? Any questions about LinkedIn profiles?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So a couple of different approaches to use LinkedIn and other social networking platforms to network would be to look for folks who have similar titles and reach out to them directly.
Yes.
But what are some other keywords that I could search for or ways I can
Yep.
present?
Yes. Okay. So that's just one channel. You mentioned like LinkedIn. So we'll start with that. You can look at people with similar titles. You can also type in skills that you have and a title that you're going for. Like, what is a skill that you're particularly proud of that you have?
A lot of cross-functional coordination.
And what is a role that you're targeting or interested in learning about?
Product management.
So then it might help you to run a search like cross-functional product, and then these might be people, the people who show up in your results might be people that you're going to connect with because they're using language similar to language that resonates with you. So think about that, and then you can also look at posts and go and comment and post on things and repost things that other people have talked about. Let's see if there's some. Yeah, I would just say kind of scroll through and see what. Yeah, I mean, like this is a great example. Like if I read this one and was like, oh, I have something to add to the conversation about growth hacking, I might add a comment or I might share with my thoughts and say, interesting thoughts at Sean Ellis. My top 3 takeaways. One, I would do something like that. I would read it first and, process it before I go and just put something out into the world. But you can do things like that to just start conversations and thought leadership and building relationships. In fact, Connie Cartmill, if I do that, she's going to come up in posts. Oops. That is not what I meant to look for. Connie Cartmill in our program had some really interesting challenges because her industry collapsed during the pandemic, and she was unlike Jessie, she was a retail executive, so very, very few opportunities when you're an executive vice president in an industry that has collapsed. So for her job search, and she also said she was facing a lot of age bias, her job search strategy was almost based entirely on thought leadership. She flagged the top 10 companies that she could work for, and she went and she constantly was reposting on posts from those brands with her own insights and adding to adding real data. Oh, what I've seen in, online versus brick and mortar. These are the top. And she landed interviews with Nordstrom. She landed interviews with Lululemon, with all of these top brands, and then she found her home at Janie and Jack. So how you interact is going to largely depend on your industry. Okay, our goal for these sessions during the week is 30 minutes, get in, get out. mostly so that you can all go and start implementing this. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you all at the next session. Have a good one, everyone.